that you're gone, I can fly.
What is up, guys? It is your LOL support here, and today I want to bring you guys a little guide on how to become more effective as a mid laner. Now, this video I will probably use at another time to talk to you guys about a Diana mid guide, because when I did this gameplay, I was streaming, and this was a game where I decided I'm going to be focusing on trying to coach as much as possible as far as through my voice and through communicating what I'm thinking through the whole match. So I'll probably upload this gameplay a second time, and hopefully you guys are okay with that. I'm sorry I've been posting a lot of gameplays lately. It's just, that's what I kind of wanted to experiment with, see how you guys liked it. Let me know if you guys do like it. If you guys want more guides or things like that, just let me know. I have some ideas for upcoming guides and upcoming things, so don't worry about that. We'll get that covered. So I'm going to, like I said, probably re-upload this, but I'll be skipping through a lot of this just because a lot of it's not the purpose of this guide. This guide is to make you a better mid laner and not just a Diana guide. Alright, so all I'm doing here is I'm just kind of CSing. Right now, Kayle will have the advantage in the lane, but what I'm doing a lot of is when you're in mid lane, and if you have somebody who has a timed buff like Kayle, you can't see it because of the subscribe button on my stream overlay, but she has an icon that shows when her ranged attacks are about to run out. And if you see, every time I go in for CS, it's always just as her timer's about to run out. So the auto attack she swings gets canceled because she can no longer become a ranged attacker. So that's what I end up doing a lot here. We're going to fast forward a little bit. So I base, picked up another Dorn's Ring. Okay, so far I haven't made anything pivotal yet as far as the mid laner is concerned. Okay, let's see. So we're still just going. Okay, so right here, I'm going to try and attempt to make a roam bot lane. I noticed that once I push, okay, so if you check out my lane, I made sure that I pushed it right up to tower and then started roaming. I noticed that there's a pink ward in the brush, so I know that none of that area is warded. They don't have scuttle crab, so that's not warded either. And an important thing to know is if you're going to gank as a mid laner and your jungler is in the enemy jungle like this is almost a 80% go gank if there's any potential to gank. So you're going to see I'm going to follow up here because she's going to always be here for the backup should I need it, right? So I'm going to come in here. Alistar headbutts her into a good position. I could have done my second dash, but I didn't want to burn my escape just in case Blitz grabbed me. And that gave the kill off to Corki. Now watch what I do here. Instead of just getting the kill and basing, you notice that I pushed the wave up. There's two reasons to push the wave up like this. One, if Evelynn were to head over to Dragon, we could do Dragon and the wave would be pushed up to there and they would have no vision of the river. So for all they know, Corki and Alistar based. If she didn't do Dragon, if Dragon wasn't up, what this does is not only does this deny all the CS from Ashe and Blitzcrank, because Blitzcrank had to have based or else we would have tower dove him and gotten a second kill. Not only does it deny that vision, but it also takes down the turret faster. Once you take down the turret, you can push up your vision line, and bot lane can now start roaming to mid and taking these towers. But as you see, Dragon's up, and they have Hecarim in the top lane, so we're going to go ahead and take the Dragon. I see this in the game. We ping the Dragon, and we get a free Dragon here, just because of the fact that Hecarim was top. And another thing to note, I burned flash there, or I think I did. Did I? Let me see. No, I didn't. Okay. Had I burned flash there, it would have been worth it because of the fact that my flash secured a kill that got us an objective. Does that make sense? So you don't want to burn flash stupidly unless it's for a first blood or unless it's for a shutdown goal. Other than that, you always want to flash to get objectives. Like, there's no point in flashing selfishly. You're just going to burn your flash, and then you're not going to have it for a pivotal fight. Okay, so I go ahead and get blue. You see I'm pushing up the lane. Okay. So I do the same thing over and over and over. I push up the lane. Hecarim tried to gank there. I try to pull him in. I just barely missed. Kayle, by standing here zoning, is losing CS here. So that's inefficient zone right there. So I see Hecarim head towards the bot lane. So what I choose to do is I can either do one of two things. I can stay in lane where it's pushed and it's going to be really hard for me to get CS. Or I can roam down for the counter gank on Hecarim and potentially get double buffs or get a kill for bot lane. So you see I do choose the latter and I go gank Hecarim. You see he comes up towards the river and I force him to burn his ultimate to get away through that. But Blitzcrank ends up landing the grab and I'm here for a counter gank. And we end up getting 1 kill, 2 kills, and I don't believe we get the Hecarim. But we were able to pick up 2 kills. Now you notice, like I said, once we get a kill like that, we're going to push up and we're going to get this tower. If Hecarim chooses to stay, he will get dove. So he has no option. Evelyn's in mid lane. All she needs to do is rotate into the mid lane and cover that lane while I'm bot. Sadly, however, she doesn't. Does she do that? No, she... let's see what she does. Alright, so it looks like she ends up going in. But you see, I'm pressuring this tower with Corki. And at 11 minutes, we were able to get our first tower. Like, that's not anything substantial if you do roam effectively. But in a lot of games that I see, people just fail to get towers and it just takes them forever to secure just one single tower. Just because they'll roam and not do anything with the roam. You see I place a defensive pink ward because I know that Hecarim and Kayle are going to be pushing up my lane. So Hecarim can come through and use an ultimate on me. Okay, so fast forwarding. All of this is just stuff that I talk about in the game. So if I re-upload this clip, you guys will be able to hear everything and see everything that I do here. Okay, so right here, I just ended up getting caught out. I did end up getting a kill for the Ashe, but definitely got caught. Okay, so let's fast forward. Okay, so you notice, okay, I make a decision right here. Wave is pushed up. I see Hecarim top, and when I checked Hecarim, like here, let me back it up. So at some point, I'm going to see Hecarim top. Chances are I'm going to check and see if his blue's up by checking his personal avatar. So let me see. Let's see. So I clear this wave. I ping missing. All right. Go ahead and clear the Wraiths or Raptors. Okay, so I see Hecarim top lane. And alright, so I see Hecarim top. I instantly ask for making the move towards blue buff. I check with my Q, and it's not up. However, what this does is this puts us in a position to start warding up their bot half jungle. As a mid laner, if you're not carrying wards, and if you're not warding their jungle, then you're doing errors. So Hecarim's top, and now we have total vision of their bot half jungle. So now we have a lot more potential to counter jungle, invade, what have you. Okay, so I see Kayle's missing, and as a mid laner, I had one of two options. I could either base, or I could stay here for the counter roam. So I see that Kayle went top instead of going bot, and Darius is already safe, so I feel free to come here and be a little bit more risky when it comes to trying to kill off these people. They have really good wave clear with Ashe's volley, so it's going to make it a little bit harder to get to the turret. And Corki gets pulled. I take this as a time to go in, and I end up going back up on the Ashe, get out, break turret aggro, wait till it refocuses on minions, and then go back in. I do end up getting killed for this because Hecarim just shows up at the right time, so not much you could do about that. But they're able to make it out safely, and if that kill resulted in the tower, it would have been worth it, but since it didn't, and Kayle ended up, I think she might end up taking this tower, that really wasn't too worth it as a mid laner. Okay, so she's getting hammered on. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to fast forward through this. Okay, so I spawned, come through. As you guys can see, a recurring theme of this is just how to rotate and how to push once you've rotated. because a lot of people just can't do that. Okay. So Corky and I are shoving up mid lane. We see that there's 4 or 5 top lane. So what we're going to do is we're going to secure this tower first. And you see bot wave is pushing towards their turret. So after we get this turret, if they start rotating down, all you have to do is make a rotation through their jungle to secure the next turret. Because logically, if they walk from top lane downward towards here, then you will be able to beat them by coming here. Corky is a little greedy here. This tower, they're all basing, so you already know that people are going to be coming up like that. So Aatrox goes on, but he doesn't end up finishing that out. So we see that this is a free chance for a dragon, because once the wave is pushed up like this, you do get a little bit of vision of them when they leave through the base, and we have a ward right here, so we know that they're not coming for the contestation until it's too late. So we see Kayle coming down, and we just do our best to burst this down as fast as possible. I burn both uses of my ultimate, and we're able to pick up the dragon. And they... Okay, so there's a ward there, but I think Blitzcrank just placed that. Okay, so they have no idea that we did the dragon. We just did that for free. So you see, we're constantly pushing objectives, regardless of what happens, no matter what the roams were, no matter what. We're just constantly pushing objectives. Now I see a team fight breakout right here, and what I choose to do is I choose to secure this tower. Now this might be a debatable use of my teleport, but I know that they're really trying for these kills here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and relieve pressure in the mid lane, because as a team, we can't force them off this push. Their push right here is going to be stronger than our defense. Corky has Phosphorus Bomb, but I have Q, but Kayle has ranged harass. Hecarim has an incredible dive potential, and Kayle has invulnerability with her ultimate. So rather than go here and try and defend that, what I'm doing is I'm coming here and trying to see if I can get them to back off because of pressure in the top turret. So I think they're going to be able to secure this tower and then not much else after that. So I have one of two choices. I can base, come here, or I can come help push top, but this option really doesn't make too much sense. I'd rather come down here where it's safe, because I'd rather base, get a free trip to here, so I'm not in enemy territory anymore. So that teleport was able to get another tower there, and it was able to help our team out objectively. And since I do have since I have the dragon buff, pushing towers and everything is not all that hard. So I'm just gonna be farming here. Let's see. I'm gonna fast forward just a tiny bit. Okay, so at some point we saw Heck. And let's see. Okay, so I'm going up towards Aatrox. Hecarim's right there doing his red buff, and I seize this opportunity. He does an early smite, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to Q over to his red buff, take the red buff, and use that as an escape, and we successfully took his buff. So we're going to make a rotation over to the top lane. There's nothing to do in other lanes other than top. If you look, bot lane's pushing hard, so to alleviate pressure for the bot lane to push naturally, we would go top. But since Ashe is bot, we now have permission, in a way, to take this tower or dive, one or the other, since they don't have their ADC. Blitzcrank is terribly out of position, and we're trying to get fights here, but I don't think this is the best option. I do think we end up dying here. Yeah, we end up getting smashed. Okay, so I do pick up the kill on Kayle there, and we're going to pop his passive, and I end up not making it out of this because Ashe just comes up out of nowhere and she was able to kill me. Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit more. So you see we have a few people here, and Alistar does end up burning his flash. Okay, so I'm gonna clear out mid lane. I do end up seeing the Kayle, but Kayle's doing a lot of damage right now. See if maybe we can get that. Alright, so Darius coming in, doing a very good job. Intervention used, and I'm gonna hop back to the. Did I get? I didn't even get it. Damn it. All good. Okay, so we're gonna come through, see where my next objective is. I teleport to bot lane to to make sure that we don't lose that tower. And I end up pushing that wave so that it's now a slow push towards them. And that was probably another dumb fight. And yeah, there's a lot of dumb fights this game. And that was very not worth. Because Kayle ended up pushing, I think, 2 towers down. So we're going to come back through here. Kayle just gets caught and she just tries to take down as many health bars as she can. So we're going to fast forward through this. I see that there's a fight breaking out right here. And I'm in a good spot because I can take out the Ashe like that. But then afterwards, they're such a tanky team that has a Guardian's Angel because of Aatrox's passive. That it makes it really, really hard to fight this. So end up getting the kill there. And at this point, I think we do Baron. Do we? No, we end up pinging off of it. Okay. At that point, it would have been a great time to Baron just because their jungler was low and their Kayle was just about to spawn, so she wouldn't have been able to get there in time. However, Evelyn decided that she was not going to do Baron. That's fine. Just be on the same page as your team as a mid laner as well, because if you're not on the same page as your team, then it's going to kind of hurt you in the long run, just because you trying to be a solo hero is only going to end up in you dying. So sometimes you just got to not go for the objectives if your whole team's not down and just push something else, ping something else. So I'm going to stay here for the wave clear. My whole team is basically dead, so I really have nothing to do here. So I end up flashing and it ended up not doing anything. So we're going to fast forward. Corki's able to defend, and right here, how many kills did they end up picking up? They ended up acing them, I think. Did they ace them? Yeah, they ended up acing them. Okay, so I pinged them to do Baron because I'm going to TP into bot lane and get the turret. And you notice that I'm trying to use as many procs of my Lickbane as I can. So meanwhile, while I push here, I become #1 priority over Baron for the enemy team. So what this does is this allows my team to do Baron essentially for free. So I'm going to keep going, and I don't know if I end up getting this. Yeah, I don't end up getting the inhibitor, but I end up trying to stall as much as I can, as long as I can. Right there. Okay. So I stalled, but my team does end up being able to pick up Baron for that, so we're going to have better siege potential after that. Okay, so we were able to get the Baron. I ended up burning TP, but for an open inhib now. So that open inhib is going to be their Achilles heel. We have one as well. Actually, we have a downed inhib, so they're slightly ahead. But when it comes to towers, we are ahead as far as the team is concerned. We have more towers than they. Okay, so let's back it up a little bit. Okay, so I end up going on to the Kayle, forcing her to go back a little bit. And I end up trying to soak up as much damage as possible. The great thing is Corki remains untouched if you have somebody who can go in as hard as Diana, because everyone just focuses on the Diana and no one really looks at the Corki. Like, Corki's standing here in the back line while Evelyn's tanking up the Ashe, and they're able to pick up so many kills and just completely wreck the enemy team. That and Corki and Eve still have the Baron buff. So we're gonna fast forward, see if they... Okay, so Corki overstays his welcome here and might get killed. I don't know. I don't think he gets killed, actually. Let's see. So Corki started the dragon, however, he had no one there to start it with, and that's an example of sometimes not doing the right objectives because your team's not on the same page. And I probably made a poor positional error by going to bot lane and making sure that tower didn't get bursted down, but that's the choice I made. I would rather keep these towers up and have them only be able to siege through 1 and 2, potentially 2 lanes versus all 3 lanes. Okay, so I see this next team fight. My objective is I know enemy focus is here and not here. So I'm able to assassinate from here. If you know where the enemy is looking, you can assassinate from different angles without them being aware of it. If I was here and tried to assassinate, they'd see it coming. But since I'm here, coming through there, they're not going to see it. So my focus is either A, Ashe, or B, Kayle, who can protect Ashe. And if I burst her down fast enough, she's not going to be able to use her ultimate. So you're going to see, boom, able to burst her down. So without Kayle in the fight, this is just a guaranteed fight, just because Kayle does so much AoE damage, and also having it being ranged, it's ridiculous. So I end up basing so I can take care of the minions. And Corki is here with me as well. Okay, so this is kind of as far as this guide goes. Just because it's now getting towards the late game where it's more just the team fighting in the rotations. But what I wanted to show you guys essentially through this guide was how to be more effective as a roamer in mid lane. Because you can roam to other lanes and get kills and get fed, but if you're not pushing objectives and you're not doing anything with your lead, then there's really no point in doing it. Like, you might as well stay in your lane and farm and deny CS if you're not going to rotate properly. Okay, so we end up missing the kill. Okay. So that's the premise of it. That's the TLDR, is just make sure that you're constantly doing things that push the game forward. And if you go to bot lane and get a kill and you don't do anything about it, and you don't get a dragon, you don't get turrets, you don't do any of that, then it's really for nothing. Because you're just getting kills, yeah, but if the enemy team pushes objectives, objectives will beat fed players. Like, that's what I've come to learn, is no matter how fed somebody is on the enemy team. I mean, look at Kayle. Kayle just is a monster when it comes to chomping us down because of her ranged attacks and AoE, right? Like, she took down 2 towers in no time flat. So it was very easy for her to do that. But since I'm able to open up that inhib on that 1 TP, Corki was able to come in and get that inhib with a backdoor-ish type deal. And we were able to secure that, and ever since then, we got Baron buffed. That helped us in this fight. It just overall pushed us forward as a team. When we got that Baron, when we, pushed down objectives, everything. Turrets make this game. It's not the kills, it's the turrets. So make sure you know that, and you'll win a lot more games that, you might not have won previously. Alright guys, that's it for this guide. I really hope that you find it informational, and hopefully you guys learn from it. And if you did, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. And without anything else to say on this topic, guys, this has been your LOL support, and I am out of here.